right, we're gonna call to order this meeting on February 29th, leap day for the Jefferson County Health and Human Relations Commission. So welcome. We do not have a quorum today. We've had some illnesses. We've had one commissioner, a commission member resign, and there's a Black History Month event going on right now. So we're just a little short today, but we do have some topics to cover, and we'll just have an extra long to-do list for our next meeting. All right. So DJ sent out the minutes after our last meeting, so I'm going to move for approval of the minutes. Yes. Second. Let me write this down since I'm taking minutes. All right. To make sure that we are cognizant of our community's time, before we go through our to-do list, we had an online agenda submission from Julie Patterson. So we're gonna let her go first since she tested out our new system for submitting agenda items online. And what I'll do is I will read what she submitted so that we know the context of it, and then she can elaborate on the form. It says to try to keep it to 10 minutes. So, yeah.
I don't know if there was anyone else here. If that's the limit, we probably would let them.
That's why we have like 40 people in here. Maybe.
Yeah.
There was only a full.
Yeah, so Julie wrote, Julie Patterson, I won't say her full name, who is a resident of Jefferson County, wrote that she recently helped an acquaintance get to a domestic violence shelter and would like to explain what the process was like to make the HHRC aware of the bumps we faced and perhaps brainstorm ways to make it less stressful for the next person who would do such a thing.
I kept that so short. I'm so proud of myself at how succinct I kept that little message. So I went back through, this is definitely, I've grown to know this person a lot better since this situation, but my ties to her start out, everybody will laugh because it's so typical, but in June of 2023, she reached out for cats help. So she had previously lived downtown, actually really pretty close to me. Moved, her mother-in-law died, they moved out way into the county. Took their cats, who I think the cats that they took with them were mostly fixed. Got out to the county. I don't remember the exact situation if animals were dumped. I know there's definitely a neighbor who brought a couple, you know, like, oh, you're an animal person here, can you help this cat? And it very quickly expanded again to many cats. Like there's still, I think, around 30 cats at this one household. So she actually reached out and said the Humane Society suggested she reach out to me, which is kind of a whole other situation. Because I mean, the Humane Society has resources. I really don't have resources besides just me, but I went out and kind of figured out what was going on. We had several trips of taking cats back and forth to Cincinnati to get them fixed. We were able to get 2 kittens rescued that were really sick and needed like more help. But there was one feral mom cat who just kept kind of eluding stuff. So I've been just kind of in, you know, communication with her about this one cat. Like, do you want to try and trap her today? I have space to take her, blah, blah, blah. She then started reaching out about other things. She had a cat that was sick that I ended up helping her get to my vet, Dr. Barron downtown, and paid for that and got Kitty, you know, on some medicine and stuff like that. But in that, like in those times together, she just started revealing more about her personal situation. the mother-in-law died. It was very difficult on the husband. From what she describes, he was already like a pretty hard to get along with guy. And then they get out here to this place out in the county. They're now lacking transportation, so neither of them have a vehicle. They're there with their 10-year-old daughter. She's not nobody's working. I'm not sure, exactly where money comes from, but there is some help through, I think, food stamps and stuff. But I can't remember when it was, but it was pretty clear that like, this was a situation that just wasn't healthy for anybody. So not only is it a domestic violence situation, but there's like a lot of mental health stuff going on with all three of the people in the household. There's suicidal ideation, both adults and child. I'm pretty sure, this is not my wheelhouse at all, but I'm pretty sure there's some addiction, substance abuse situations going on. And there has been previously DCS involvement. I made, well, let me just stop. So the very first thing that felt like a more intense, more than just cats, she reached out and was saying she was having trouble getting her kid to school. Her kid was not, getting up in the morning and getting on the bus. So then she was also, the kid was harming herself. And I said, well, like, that's something I have to report, like everybody in Indiana is a mandated reporter. I'm also a CASA, like I have to report that. She was like, well, I think the school already has. So we went to school together at the junior high and talked to a counselor there who was amazing, really great, handed her like a whole stack of resources. She, disclosed in there that like her relationship with her husband is really volatile. It's always been kind of like not amazing, I guess, but she, she'll say like, I loved him, like he's supposed to be my family. But since his mom died, it just sounds like things really went downhill. It's definitely sexual, abuse, like, I don't know how to, like, sexual domestic violence is happening. And mental, like, she has sent me recordings of things he's said to her. And it just like, does not sound like, it's not a healthy place. It just does not feel like a good place to be. After the meeting with the school, she kind of fell out of touch a little bit. It sounded like, maybe things were getting a little bit better. The counselor was trying to step in and help get kiddo to school and stuff like that. And then sometime at the beginning, I went back and looked, it was at the very beginning of the year in January. She reached out and was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live. I can't do this anymore. So I was looking up domestic violence places and sending her numbers. She has a cell phone. It doesn't have minutes, so she can only use it on Wi-Fi. They do have a house phone, but I think there has definitely been an issue once where she was talking with the school counselor on the house phone and the husband picked up and then got mad at her because of stuff she disclosed to the school counselor. So it all kind of like blew up and I said, well, I go to Cincinnati anyway to take these cats. I had asked a friend who knew of a place called the Ion Center in Covington. And they will take people from anywhere. So she had started like kind of reaching out to them. We agreed that I would drop her off, take my cats, come back, figure out the situation. It took a couple times to do that. There was like 1 week where she came with me to drop off cats. She was too scared to go. So I was like, okay, well, I have to go back tomorrow to get them. Like, maybe we can try again tomorrow. The second day she went with me, I was like, great, they're gonna accept her, like she'll be able to go here. They were not. She still wasn't ready to leave, so she was like, okay, well, when it's time for you to go back to get to work, you tell me and I'll leave with you. So she started talking to them and getting some resources, but she still came back with me. Then there was like a couple day break where I didn't go to Cincinnati, so I can't remember if it was the next week or later. I think I made one special trip. We finally were like, we gotta do this. She, I think, also reached out to the people who are running the like suicide, like the countywide suicide prevention thing, and told them some stuff that made them call the police. So at one point, the sheriff's office went out there. They let her bring a couple things with her, and they literally dropped her off like in the alley behind my backyard. So I was out there in my garage doing whatever, and I hear somebody be like, Julie, Julie. And I was like, holy crap, what are you doing here? And she said, well, I told somebody called the police. They said they could take me, but they couldn't take me all the way to the shelter. Cause I had also been telling her about, there's a shelter in Batesville. They couldn't take her all the way to the shelter. So I was like, so they dropped you off in the alley behind my house? Like, she said, well, I told them that I knew somebody around here. So she comes in, this is the night when Harry worked. So it was just me and Kelly. She stayed for a little bit.
And Harry's your husband.
Harry's my husband, yes. Kelly's my son.
If anybody's watching.
Yes. So it's just me, and I can't even remember if Kelly was there now. I'm sorry, I should have written all this down while it was all happening. She ended up getting, I was like, the Salvation Army's down the street. It was cold enough that they were gonna be open. I was like, we can get you, like, do you have another friend? There was a friend like up in Windridge. She was saying she could stay with. I was like, I can get you up there. And she ended up, I don't know, it was just like, I don't know if it was, I don't know what it was. She was just agitated and she ended up calling the husband, who was like, yes, come back. A lot of times when they go places, they get his dad to take them. So she sent his dad to come get her from my house. And now I'm feeling like, well, this feels really uncomfortable, because any other time it had been me going to them, like I felt secure enough to go out there, but now they know where I live. And now this guy who I've heard recordings of, who is not, doesn't sound awesome, has never really made much of an effort to interact with me. They, when we first started doing all the cat stuff, we were trying to be more direct about saying, yes, we can take these cats for you and the services are free, but a donation for gas or whatever. And we were saying that, and she was relaying back to me that he was like, I'm not giving them money for anything, like. And one day he did walk up to my car and like hand me a 20, and I was like, thanks, that's great. But like, he never had any interaction with me. So she left. Literally an hour later, she's sending me another message saying, I can't believe I came back. He's forcing me to do things that I don't want to do, sexual things that I don't want to do. And I was like, this is so hard, Misty, we gotta leave, like, can you call the police again? Sorry. Oh, sorry, I did, yes.
Okay.
So, I ended up calling the police, and I just called dispatch to be like, I'm confused about why this was allowed to happen.
Do you want us to turn off the recording for a few minutes?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Okay, so after some discussion that we wanted to keep confidential just to protect identities, we kind of got to the point in the conversation where we're talking about actions that our HHRC can take. And so we're gonna start assigning, as I type and talk at the same time, sorry. We're gonna start assigning tasks to HHRC members so that we can have some action on this discussion. So the first thing we discussed was to perhaps invite Chelsea Markham and any other staff to a meeting to discuss.
Yeah, I'm happy to reach out to Chelsea.
All right, I'll put you there.
Are we wanting her, I guess I'll give her the dates of the March and April meeting and see.
Yeah.
If she did, so attend one of those. Okay.
All right, so Cammy will invite Chelsea Markham and her staff. Some of the things we had attached to that were to ask them to kind of check their Google search reach based on search terms that might not quite take people there if they type certain search terms. And the accessibility issue being tied to trying to keep their space safe and how we can kind of pivot from there. Possibly propose, oh, I might add this to another one. I'm editing as we go. The next thing would be to invite Madison, Hanover, and countywide law enforcement to talk about this issue and how protocols could possibly be adjusted based on this scenario. Possibly propose social workers to emergency response teams to help identify these issues and help kind of assess them. And is law enforcement aware of safe passages and offering those services?
So my suggestion would be that maybe once I have a commitment for like the time that Chelsea's coming,
Okay.
or a non-commitment, once we know one way or the other, then maybe whoever wants to take the next action item, like I could be in communication with them, let them,
Okay.
and then reach out. What do y'all?
Yeah, that makes sense. Reach out after Cammy's confirmed a date
Mm-hmm.
with safe passages. Do we want them to come on the same meeting? So they can.
Yes, I think
Bring
so.
people together,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So we'll hold off on assigning unless somebody wants to volunteer to do that when we have that information. Is anybody connected with law enforcement?
I have no idea even who, like, when you guys were talking about sheriffs, I was like, oh, we have a new sheriff?
I'm trying to think if any of our other members are. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to, I don't.
Yeah, I bet you did use the word.
You're gonna do more, no?
You wanna do it?
Okay.
If you need help, I can do it.
Yeah, if y'all have any trouble with Hanover, I live there. And a city council person lives next to me, so. So Dave will do this? Dave in collaboration with Cammy?
There we go, that works.
Okay. And. All right, the next thing I have on my list is to put the link to safe passages more visibly on the county website.
I got that.
You got that? Okay.
So,
I'm getting pretty good at reaching out to Sarah, but that's okay.
Or the whole Jefferson County resource guide. I mean, it has stuff for housing and food pantries and I mean, I think to have that visible, it's a 4-page guide. And just if we could have that entire link on the county website.
I added that to that. It's a county thing, is that in the purview of the courthouse and commissioners?
well, yeah, I mean, we can add those links, because hopefully that's, even if it's not ours specifically, it's easy to add those links. Well, I say that, but it's pretty quick at it, but yeah, it should be easy to add those links to.
And the last thing I had might be something just to add to Chelsea's thing. Since it's their information, encouraging businesses to put info in women's bathrooms specifically, on their resource. So I'll add that to number 1 there.
Like Walmart would be a great place to have that.
I'd imagine because of the COVID thing, there was a lot of those kinds of things that were taken away, so we passed that, let's go on and put them back.
Did you have another comment?
I feel like Ivy Tech has stuff like that in the bathroom,
We do.
but that's the only place I can think of recently where.
Yeah, bars, sometimes I see them
Yeah.
here, but
And
Yeah.
typically, like,
Where?
Bars.
bars.
it's often like in certain establishments, maybe there's one person who takes on making the photocopies when they're getting low.
Mm,
You know,
yeah,
so like, when I worked in emergency medicine, I was somebody who made sure we always had the little business card thing.
Mm,
Now, I've been gone from that job for 5 years. I can't tell you if anyone has reached out for a restocking since that time, or if the people working there even know that's an option to get. So, because it's not like Chelsea can be running around 8 hours a day doing that. So, yeah, getting people to know again,
Yeah.
like, hey,
yeah.
Yeah.
And we can talk to them about that, as part of the
I feel
process.
like
of
I've
the
seen it at
conversation.
Red Rooster on their bulletin boards before.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I've seen certain places where they'll have it posted where if you're in a situation presently at a location and you're having issues
Yeah,
with
you
the
can go
person
say
with
a code
you,
word,
that
yeah.
you can go like talk to somebody who works there and be like, oh, I want to order this.
Mhm.
And that means call me a cab, I need to get out of here. and
Yeah.
need Some help.
Yeah.
So, all the things that happen in women's restrooms that nobody knows about.
All right.
So yeah, Julie, is there anything else you think we could really help touch on?
No, those ideas sound really great, and I'm sitting here while I'm already in the headspace, writing my email to
Okay. The people.
the people.
And if you want to stick around for a few minutes, I don't think we're gonna, have too much else to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a couple minutes to
I
craft.
can
my
let you
email.
read over the minutes so that you can approve kind of how
Oh, sure.
I've
Yeah,
laid everything out.
okay.
Okay, all right. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on to our next agenda item, number 4, which is time for public input. Which we do not have any of. There are no more public here. So number 5 is commission members report on action items from the last meeting. And I have a list of our action items, already copied and pasted right into this little document I'm looking at here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna highlight the ones where members who are not present, we will
Address it then.
address that next time. We will put that back on their to-do list. One that was for me was to find a contact at Ivy Tech to connect with Kindness Jefferson County so that we could get info out about their SAVE vehicle. And I did that. And an email went out to all Ivy Tech faculty, staff, and students about getting volunteers for the vehicle with links and contact info for Laurel. So take that one off the list. If anybody still needs to do that and wants like a copy of an email draft that has all that information, I'm happy to share it. They also shared a list of events that are upcoming that the vehicle will be at, so that people can go check it out if they want.
The vehicle was tinier than I thought it was gonna be,
Yeah,
like much smaller,
yeah.
because it was in Hanover for a while too.
Well, and it is set up just to be for one person at a time. It's not supposed to be for like a bunch of people at a time. It's like you go shut yourself in here and have your moment and. Yeah, regulate. Yeah, that's the word that I can never remember, so. So yeah, that happened. We had Cammie reaching out to a contact at the Chamber of Commerce. How did that go?
So I sent an email to Liz and Anna at the chamber along with Austin Courtney at Madison Main Street, and I had Laurel on there. I never got a response from anyone. I don't know if Laurel did separately and I haven't followed up with her. So perhaps I should follow on all of that, but that was sent on January 8th.
I would suggest, I went straight to the top. I went to everybody's boss and was like on it. I want you to send this email to me or to everyone, because I want it to come from you. So I don't know if there's like a head of a board or something, since they're nonprofits, it may be best to go to them.
I
So
mean, like, Madison Main Street is essentially my neighbor.
yeah,
So it's like, I see Austin Sims almost every day, so I could literally just say something on the.
So you don't have to-
Hey, did you ever get that email? I never responded. As far as like Liz and Hannah, not so much, but I guess I could reach out to, Amanda, who is the chancellor of Ivy Tech, and I think she might be, I know she's at least on the board for the
Okay.
chamber.
Amanda is the one who sent the email.
Person. No, she is.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's the boss.
She's the boss lady. So, okay. Well, so she did it for the same thing, for the, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so she already has a draft
so
email.
she's already got a drafted email, and be like, hey, can you just change the, and send it to the
Yeah,
chamber?
tell
Okay.
people to send this out.
Okay.
I'll note that you're gonna follow up with people on the board to help get it out.
Okay.
And when was the training? Is there any trainings that have been set?
Well, the training is all done
Online?
individually. It's
Oh,
online,
okay.
so you just have to like do a background check and then get the training link after you've been approved, I think. I have not done it yet. I just got a background check for something else, but no, I wonder if I can use that same one.
He said, cause I asked, cause I'm like, I've had so many,
Yeah.
and like.
Do I have to remember every address again?
Right.
Okay.
Federal fingerprint one for. They're like, oh, you need the local one. I'm like, okay, well, got that too.
My last one, I had to do every address I've lived at since 1988.
Oh, wow.
It's for working with kids stuff, so they wanna check them all.
I guess he didn't, I mean, they fingerprinted me and ran it through the federal database. So that probably.
That's probably
Since
cover it all.
1979.
I'm like, are you sure? I've been alive since 82. All right, the next one we have, I think with Scott Murphy was to reach out to KDH, to get info out to them. Does anybody want to follow up on behalf of Dr. Murphy? Or should we assign that to? We could give it to Tamika, because I know that her mom has worked for KDH before.
He's so good with this guy.
Well, Scott resigned.
I know, don't give it to
Okay.
him.
I guess I can text him and be like.
Hey, did you ever do that before you resigned?
Yeah, I guess I could. I'll be like, Jane will.
We
reach
haven't
out
found,
to
he
you.
hasn't found a replacement, so he's still on the hook.
All right.
We can run, they can't.
Oh, you have to leave the county. I'm a non-resident. All right, and then my last one was to add a good question to the question and answer that redirects to the HHRC website, which I did with the help of Sarah. So that was all the action steps from last week or last month.
I had one on there about the testing of the fire hydrants. It's
yeah.
every 5 years for the NFPA, so fire companies have to do that. I was gonna get an email set up, and I'll do that tomorrow when I'm with Sarah too, so we got the new email system. Just, I thought it would be Actually, they all carried over, so I could have done it earlier instead of waiting on the switch. But I'll get it done tomorrow.
All right,
Link set up.
I will note that will be, a new one, so we can double check on it next time. Thank you for checking on the fire hydrant thing. So it's every 5 years and they check those. Any others that I missed?
I just would like to thank the organization March for their work during Black History Month and for different things that were organized around the community. And I also wanted to mention that next Friday, March 8th is International Women's Day. And so, as a Health and Human Relations Commission, I think it's important to recognize this.
What was that date again?
March 8th, Friday, March 8th.
That's right. Awesome, because yeah, I'm putting this under number 6, because we're moving on.
Okay.
Where we report on events attended last month or note upcoming events. I did attend a ribbon cutting for the saved vehicle.
Oh, okay.
That happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, with the venture out.
Yeah, I got to meet Jackson Snell,
Oh, from American Idol? Is
the
that
other one.
the other
voice.
one? Oh, the voice.
Yeah.
The singing.
And I actually saw him again last night in Jennings County. It was pretty cool. So yeah, a good event. We got a shout out for helping out with volunteers. They're getting a nice wrap put on it and it should be in action. I think it was even this past week, it's been in action already at an event, so.
So not that word.
Yeah, yeah, they had a band event, I think at Hanover College. So, more to come. I'm gonna try to remember in the minutes to include the list that I received from the Kindness Organization about the events they're gonna be at. I also had noted to note that Black History Month events have been happening, which is cool. With the March organization, collaborated with Sue Livers to get a lot of those on the calendar. And that's why we're missing some of our members tonight, because there is one tonight at the same time, where Sue's doing a lecture about George the Baptiste. So we'll have to hear from Tamika at our next meeting, how that was. Because Tamika's there because she couldn't miss her mom's presentation, so.
I guess on this, agenda item of things, upcoming stuff as well.
Yeah.
There is a, Hanover College is having a women's brunch on March the 9th, focused on women's mental health. It's open to the public and alumni and anybody, I guess. The cost is $20, but there's several speakers and the day after International Women's Day and everything.
Yeah. The brunch is good. They have like an omelet.
Oh my gosh, I love what Mary's done with the catering over
Yeah.
there. She is so talented. Those crostinis, I can't wait. I will be attending that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to
Go for that.
figure out what's happening next weekend for me. I don't know how I'm so busy. I am.
You and Julie, I don't know how y'all ever sleep.
I know. Yeah, we do it sometimes. Any new business from commission members? I'm happy to go back to any other events that are coming up. I can't think of anything that tie in directly. But I will include the list of the safe vehicle events. The things I had noted for new business. Is an action item for everyone.
No.
And that action item is for everyone to share the application, which is on our website. For people that they think would be good additions to the commission. So share with at least one person But I'm not against y'all BCCing a bunch of people on that, if you want.
Can you remind us how many spots? We
There's
have 3.
9.
Right,
We have 9, so there's
3 currently open.
3 currently open. And I know we had one of those, I think was a 1 year, and I am a 1 year.
We can't wait after a year.
We'll see. We'll see. I got big plans, but we'll see. So yeah, we may need 4 spots. Do you remember how many were 1-year positions?
He was, with the 9, it was gonna be either 4 or 5.
Okay,
Trying
Yeah,
to keep it,
yeah.
not a complete turnover, but
Sure.
a good, so.
Were you one of the 1-year
I think
ones?
it's one.
Okay. Would we, cycle
Oh,
you
I
out
like
with
that
another?
I know.
Commissioner?
Well, I think, and it was to put together a list, and then that goes to the commissioners, and they were.
would another commissioner come on in your place?
Well, they could. I mean, I was gonna stay,
Okay,
Awesome.
Okay,
so,
okay,
unless they really want to,
yeah.
but yeah, my thought was, if we get a list together, and then we just submit it to the commissioners, and then we approve it, and they move on, so, we're not ones to take recommendations from boards and say, yeah, we know better. That's not a good way to keep boards and commissions going, that's for sure.
I will say that if we have too many people apply, that's fine, because it has been noted that sometimes we just suddenly need people. So we can revisit that list, so feel free to share. And I also just noted any new business that Dr. Murphy, is resigned from the commission, but I'll follow up with him about that one thing. The next thing I have is our next meeting dates are March 28th, April 25th, and May 30th. The action items that I have for our next meeting, are to send the application to somebody for every one of us. Dave's gonna set up our email address for tomorrow. I'm gonna reach out to Scott about following up with Kindness Jefferson County at KDH. Cam's gonna follow up with the people at the Chamber of Commerce and Main Street, possibly their board as well. We're gonna follow DJ about his, connecting Hanover College with Kindness Jefferson County, which I guess went well because they had an event there. Dave is going to put the Safe Passages link more visibly on the county website and also try to get it in the county resource guide. Dave, in collaboration with Cami, are going to reach out to law enforcement after they confirm a date for Safe Passages to attend a meeting. And Cami's going to invite Chelsea from Safe Passages to attend a meeting. And I think that is it.
Awesome.
Our next agenda item
Move to
is
adjourn.
to move to adjourn.
I second that.
Okay,